So today I'm actually quite excited. I have got a brand new AO canvas here in front of me, which is always like Christmas. Something exciting is going to happen. Okay, so I am doing my first ever superhero. It's Batman. I've drawn him. I am now going to paint him. Actually, I normally lay up everything where I want it to be, but I'm so super excited about doing this Batman that I'm just going to do it a different way today. So here I start. I decided I'd start slap bang in the middle around his neck. And I have chosen particular colors that I'm going to bring up on the screen just now. And basically what I've done is I've put all these colors in my palette. And as I'm doing the folds, I am mixing these colors. So I went with black, I went with gray, I went with white, I went with ultramarine blue. And like I say, as I'm doing his cape, I'm constantly mixing these colors so that you get the variation in the folds. There, I've listed them for you. Okay, and I've also added a little bit of violet just to make it interesting. Violet reminds me of velvet, reminds me of, I don't know, it just lent itself to this cape. So basically that is what I'm doing now. And I'm just trying to give as much detail as possible and make those folds as gentle as possible, because even though he is a big strong guy, this cape is yes, it's soft and it's flowing, and you need to actually bring that across. I love it when you watch this hyperlapse and you can actually see, obviously it's moving forward. So you see this guy actually coming alive right before your eyes, which to me is really cool. There is quite a lot of work in the cape. You need to, it cannot be a flat color. So otherwise it may as well just paint it all black. So you need to make sure you're getting the variations. And there I start to bring in that little bit of white just to add the highlight and just to lift it ever so gently up. So the white is just so as the light hits the fabric, you're going to put white, and you don't want to go mad with it because then it just becomes false. So just very gently with the white. Okay, and there I started on his cheekbones. Must be honest with you, I'm really enjoying, this is the first time I've ventured, as I said, doing a superhero. This is a commission that I'm actually doing for someone, and they specifically requested a superhero. So yeah, never too old or too young to learn something new. So this is an adventure for me, and loving this guy right now. So there we're onto his cheekbones. Yes, he has got a very chiseled look, and I definitely want, so it's that contrast between the softness of the cloak and then the chiseled features, which is just so fantastic about these superheroes, because most of them have got the capes, and they all like really quite buff. So it's that lovely contrast which you really get to experiment and play around with, which I'm really enjoying. And always adding a little bit more. Now I'm back to the cape again, as I've let the paint dry a little bit, because even though acrylics do dry very fast, you also need to give them a bit of space to dry. Otherwise it just becomes a little bit of a mess. So you'll see I start working on the face or on the mask, and then I jump back to the cloak again when I've gauged that it actually has dried enough. Going in there, but just to try and show you a little bit more detail. So here I start to work on his actual suit, and here I'm using a lot more gray. So the suit I'm sticking to more gray and blue, adding a little bit of ultramarine blue, but not very much at all. Really, on the arms, I use a little bit more when I do his chest area, but on the arms, also this side of him is a little bit more in shadow. So I want it to be a little bit darker. So it's the black and the gray mostly there. I probably will be adding a little bit for highlight again. Sorry, this is where I jumped ahead. I seem to have mislaid one of my videos where I actually did his chest. So I jumped ahead, but there's his chest. Voila, just like that. Okay, so now I'm onto his arm, and there you can see I've added, because now this one is more in the light, so I've added a lot more of the ultramarine blue, but again I have used a lot of white in there as well, just because I don't want too much. I just want that subtle hint of blue. I don't want it to be overpowering. So just, and a lot of gray, and there my whites I'm coming in just to highlight that arm. So as I started with the fall of the cloak over the side of the arm, I decided to incorporate some turquoise. So here I literally used turquoise color straight out of the tube, again using this as a highlight and also as a little bit of a dramatic effect, I think. I struggle not to bring color into most things, and with everything being black and gray, somewhere I had to fit some color into the mix. So this is literally the color that I chose, was that turquoise right out the tube. Okay, so now we're getting onto his mask. Nice dramatic music for the mask, and managing to get, it is severe. His mask is quite severe, very angular, and obviously that is what I wanted to get across. Using different shades, continuing to mix the paint all the time, darker, lighter, for the different planes that we're using. And as you can see, he's slowly but surely coming to life. So the colors that I used for his face was Naples yellow, raw sienna, titanium white, neutral gray, and a bit of magenta, because I did go with a very light pink. You'll see later. I'm going to take a photo of that and put that up on the screen so you've got time to actually write those down without having to rewind the video. So yes, and then I literally played around. All the shadows, I obviously used the raw sienna, and on his top lip I made that gray. You'll see, and it's amazing how well that actually worked out. But yeah, this is quite a close-up of the detail of his face, and I hope you enjoy it. Believe it or not, it's this bat on his chest that was quite difficult, because you needed to get it at the right angle, and you needed to make sure that it actually looked realistic enough on his chest, that the side closest to you was bigger. Obviously the wings a little bit more condensed as it was getting further away. So that the angle of that actually took me a while, and then I was playing around with light and dark, because you need to see that it is going over his very bulky chest, and obviously it goes in and out as his chest goes in and out. So that was a little bit more tricky, but I was very happy with the end result. And you'll see there's a lot of detail that I'm adding in afterwards. It's those fine lines, those little work where you work it in, you blending the colors into each other. That is what's actually giving it depth. And yeah, you actually can't really spend too much time making sure that those fine details are correct. So I will look at something, leave it for a while, let it dry, look at it again, work it again, and just to make sure that I'm quite happy with the final result. He's done. He's Batman, my first ever superhero. And I must be honest, he's quite buff. So very excited to get the rest of this painting done, just to see how he actually pops out of it. So no time to chat. I've just got to get going. Sorry. Okay, there's a close-up. Can you see? Can you just check those muscles? Oh my word. Must be going. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, share, subscribe.